once again, clones have beaten Apple to the punch, and this time they are better than ever. So what's up guys, Jonathan here with TLD with an unboxing of a surprisingly not terrible iPhone 6s clone. I actually grabbed two, one of them being space gray, which is cool, but we've seen that before. What we haven't seen yet though, or at least what Apple hasn't done yet, but has been rumored to do, is debut a pink iPhone 6s later this year. If you happen to catch my iPhone 6 clone unboxing last year, that thing was a disaster. It felt cheap, performed terrible, and lagged like nobody's business, but these clones, surprisingly, are a completely different story. Without even jumping into software, just the build quality alone is scary similar. The weight is super close, and honestly, if you put one of these side by side with a real iPhone 6, it's pretty hard to tell the two apart. Jumping into the software though is an even bigger surprise. On last year's clone, I had trouble even doing basic tasks, but with this one, which is still running an iOS skinned version of Android, it is shockingly smooth. Swiping between pages, launching Control Center, multitasking, it even ripped the freaking parallax effect. Now, running Geekbench, it obviously isn't going to come close to an actual iPhone, but it's still a significant improvement over last year's clone, more than doubling the multi-core score. As far as the rest of the accessories go, you get a SIM card tool, some clone papers, a knockoff lightning cable, the wall charger, and then some cheap knockoff earpods, which you can grab for less than $5 on Amazon. The camera isn't great, but again, it's better than last year's clone, so if that was a potato, this is a sweet potato. Aside from that though, especially for under $200, I might even say that this thing is usable, at the very least, if not a phone, a really awesome media player. The App Store actually takes you to the Play Store, but scroll through, install a game, and as you can see, it'll actually run it no problem. What you're seeing here is Leo's Fortune, and I'm using this because visually it's one of my favorite apps to demo, but also because it could barely run on last year's clone, and you can see the drastic improvement on this year versus last. Now obviously it's not going to replace an actual iPhone, but again, for $200 it's not bad. So I hadn't initially thought of doing this, but because these things are actually kind of cool, I'm thinking about giving a couple away. If that's something you might be interested in, let me know by going Chuck Norris on that like button and I will make it happen. Aside from that, if you have any questions, definitely feel free to drop me a line down below, but also make sure to subscribe if you haven't already, not only for the clone giveaway, but for the release of the actual iPhone 6s.